Welcome to Celestial Scrolls, where we bring ancient Chinese myths and legends to life. Today, we continue our epic journey through one of China's greatest literary masterpieces, Journey to the West. In episode 19, The Enchanted Grove of the Monkey King, our pilgrims encounter a mysterious forest where trees aren't quite what they seem. After leaving the Monastery of Silent Bells, Sun Wukong discovers a shocking truth. His loyal monkey subjects from the Mountain of Flowers and Fruit have been transformed and imprisoned for 5 centuries. As our heroes face the devious Phoenix Empress and her web of deception, Wukong must confront his past as ruler of the monkeys while remaining true to his vows as Tang Sanzang's disciple. Will the crystal bell from the silent monastery hold the key to breaking this ancient curse? And what will Wukong choose when torn between his former kingdom and his sacred quest? This episode explores loyalty, identity, and the unbreakable bonds that transcend even magical imprisonment. Subscribe now to join us on this legendary journey and discover how the great sage equal to heaven balances his 2 worlds while battling heavenly deception. As the pilgrims departed from the Monastery of Silent Bells, the morning sun cast long shadows through the ancient forest. Tang Sanzang's new crystal bell hung from his sash, occasionally catching the light and sending prismatic rainbows dancing across their path. The gift from Abbot Vaishravana had already proven valuable, vibrating subtly when they encountered a merchant on the road who had tried to sell them falsely blessed protection charms. "Master," said Wukong, somersaulting through the air to land beside Tang Sanzang's horse, "the terrain ahead changes dramatically. We'll soon leave these forests behind and enter a region of rolling hills and scattered groves." "Is that good news or bad news, elder brother?" Baji asked, adjusting his rake across his shoulders. The pig demon had been unusually contemplative since their experience at the monastery, the harmonics of the sacred bells having stirred something deep within his often distracted mind. Wukong scratched his ear thoughtfully. Neither good nor bad, just different. But there is something familiar about this region. Xiao Wujing, ever vigilant, studied the great sage's expression. "Familiar? In what way? Have you encountered demons here before?" "Not demons," Wukong replied, his golden eyes narrowing as he gazed into the distance. "It's more like a memory from long ago, before my 500 years under the mountain." Tang Sanzang observed his eldest disciple with gentle interest. The Buddha teaches us that sometimes we must revisit our past to find our way forward. Perhaps this familiar feeling is a sign we are on the correct path. They continued westward as the dense forest gradually thinned. By midday, they entered a landscape of gentle slopes covered in swaying grasses. Scattered throughout were stands of unusually shaped trees, their trunks twisted into fantastic formations, branches reaching skyward like dancers frozen in mid-performance. "These trees," Tang Sanzang remarked, slowing his horse to examine one particularly striking specimen, "they remind me of the sacred Bodhi tree under which Buddha attained enlightenment." Wukong leapt onto a low-hanging branch and ran his fingers along the bark. His expression shifted from curiosity to shock. With unexpected gentleness, he pressed his forehead against the trunk, eyes closed in concentration. "Great sage, what troubles you?" Tang Sanzang asked, dismounting to approach his disciple. When Wukong turned to face them, his usual mischievous demeanor had vanished. "Master, these are no ordinary trees. They were once monkey spirits, my subjects from the mountain of flowers and fruit." "Monkeys turned into trees?" Baji exclaimed, poking at a nearby trunk with his snout. "How is that possible?" "I don't know," Wukong replied, his voice uncharacteristically soft. "This happened after my imprisonment, while I could not protect them." Tang Sanzang placed a compassionate hand on his disciple's shoulder. "Can you sense anything of their spirits within?" "Yes," Wukong nodded. "They are not dead, merely transformed and dormant. I can feel their life force flowing through the wood, but it's as though they're all caught in a deep dream." Sha Wujing approached another tree, his river spirit senses attuned to the flow of natural energies. "There is powerful magic here, but it feels incomplete, as though the transformation was interrupted." As they ventured deeper into the grove, they discovered hundreds of these monkey trees arranged in concentric circles around a central clearing. In the middle stood the largest tree they had seen, a massive, gnarled specimen with a trunk wide enough that 10 men joining hands could not encircle it. Unlike the others, this central tree bore fruit, small, glowing peaches that emitted a subtle fragrance reminiscent of immortality. "The Queen Mother's peaches," Wukong whispered, recognizing the celestial fruit he had once stolen and devoured. "But how could they grow here in the mortal realm?" Tang Sanzang's crystal bell began to vibrate gently at his waist. "There is deception here," he warned, "though I cannot tell its nature." As if summoned by his words, a delicate mist began to rise from the ground, swirling around the central tree. The mist coalesced into the figure of a woman of extraordinary beauty, dressed in flowing robes adorned with feathers of a phoenix. Her hair was arranged in an elaborate style reminiscent of celestial maidens, and her eyes held the wisdom of centuries. "Sun Wukong," she spoke, her voice melodious yet tinged with sorrow. "The great sage equal to heaven returns at last to witness what became of his subjects." Wukong immediately adopted a defensive stance, his staff extending to full length. "Who are you, and what have you done to my monkey tribe?" The woman floated gently to the ground, her feet never quite touching the earth. "I am Lingji, guardian of the sacred grove and former handmaiden to the Queen Mother of the West. As for what happened to your subjects, that is a tale 500 years in the making." Tang Sanzang stepped forward and bowed respectfully. "Honorable guardian, we are peaceful pilgrims journeying to the western heaven to retrieve the sacred scriptures. If there is a way we might assist in whatever affliction has befallen these transformed spirits, we would be honored to help." Lingji returned the bow, then gestured for them to be seated on cushions of moss that appeared at her command. "Your reputation precedes you, Tang Sanzang. The Buddha himself has foretold your journey." She turned her gaze to Wukong, who remained standing, his staff still at the ready. "Put away your weapon, Monkey King. I am not your enemy, though I understand your suspicion." "Tell your story, then," Wukong replied, reluctantly shrinking his staff to its travel size, but remaining vigilant. "How did my people come to this fate?" Lingji waved her hand, and the air between them shimmered, forming images that played out her tale as she narrated After your imprisonment under the mountain of flowers and fruit fell into disarray. Without their king, many monkey spirits scattered across the world, but a loyal faction remained, hoping for your return. They were led by 6 of your most devoted generals. The image showed 6 monkey spirits, each distinguished by unique features, one with silver fur, another with a distinctive scar, a third with unusually long arms, and so on. For 100 years, they defended your kingdom against all manner of intruders. But then came the Phoenix Empress, an immortal who had fallen from celestial grace due to her pride. Banished from heaven, she sought to create her own paradise in the mortal realm. The shimmering vision revealed a resplendent figure with features similar to Lingzi's, but harder, colder, surrounded by flames that took the shape of phoenix wings. The Phoenix Empress coveted the mountain of flowers and fruit for its proximity to celestial energy. Your generals fought bravely, but without your power, they eventually faced defeat. In a final, desperate act, they performed an ancient ritual they had learned from watching you, a summoning of the spirit of the mountain itself. The vision showed the 6 generals forming a circle, channeling energy into a glowing symbol on the ground. The ritual succeeded, but not as they intended. The mountain spirit responded, but it could not defeat the Phoenix Empress. Instead, it offered the monkeys a chance to survive through transformation, becoming one with the plant life of the mountain, their spirits preserved within living wood until their true king would return to restore them. The images showed the monkey spirits merging with saplings and young trees, their forms gradually melding into the wood. The Phoenix Empress was enraged but could not undo the mountain's magic. In retaliation, she uprooted the transformed monkeys and scattered them here, far from their home. She then created this central tree, a mockery of the immortal peach tree of heaven, and bound me to it as its guardian. The vision shifted to show Lingji, previously free, being magically chained to the great central tree. I had fallen from the Queen Mother's grace for a minor transgression and was wandering the mortal realm seeking redemption when the Empress captured me. For 5 centuries, I have tended these transformed spirits, preventing their complete transformation into ordinary trees, but unable to restore them to their original forms. As the vision faded, Lingji looked directly at Wukong. Only you, great sage, with your connection to both these monkeys and to heaven itself, can break this curse and free both your subjects and myself. Wukong circled the central tree, examining it with growing anger. Where is this Phoenix Empress now? Let me introduce her to my staff. She ascended back to heaven 300 years ago, Lingji explained. Her banishment was not eternal, merely a punishment for her pride. Once she had demonstrated sufficient humility by creating what appeared to be a harmonious domain in the mortal world, she was permitted to return. Leaving her victims trapped and forgotten, Sha Wujing observed grimly. How convenient for her, Baji snorted. Create the mess, then abandon it once it serves its purpose. Tang Sunzang remained thoughtful. There must be a way to undo this transformation. The Bodhisattva Guanyin would not have guided us here if there were no solution. There is a way, Lingzi confirmed. The Phoenix Empress, despite her cruelty, was bound by heavenly laws. Every curse must have a counter, every lock key. The secret lies within the false peaches. She reached up and plucked one of the glowing fruits from the central tree. Unlike the immortal peaches Wukong had once stolen, which were large and radiant with celestial energy, these were smaller and pulsed with an uneven light. These fruits contain the essence of transformation. The Empress created them using knowledge stolen from the Queen Mother's garden. One who has tasted the true immortal peaches, like you, Sun Wukong, can unlock their power and reverse the spell. Wukong took the peach, sniffing it suspiciously. This smells wrong, not like the heavenly peaches at all. Because they are corrupted, Lingji nodded. The Empress couldn't replicate the divine fruit perfectly, but within their flawed nature lies the opportunity for liberation. What must I do? Wukong asked, his usual bravado replaced by solemn determination. You must take the essence of these false peaches and combine it with something only you possess, the lingering power of the true immortal peaches that still flows in your veins. Then, this mixture must be applied to the roots of each transformed monkey spirit, beginning with the 6 generals. Tang Sanzang's crystal bell began to vibrate more intensely. He placed a gentle hand on it, focusing his awareness. There is still deception here, though I cannot pinpoint its nature. Lingji's expression remained serene. Your caution is wise, holy monk. The Phoenix Empress was known for her layers of trickery. Perhaps the bell senses the false nature of these peaches, which indeed are deceptive by their very design. Sha Wujing, who had been quietly examining the grove, suddenly called out from several paces away, "Master, great sage, I've found something unusual." They joined him at the base of one of the monkey trees. The sand monk had cleared away some earth to reveal an intricate pattern of roots that formed unmistakable calligraphic symbols. These are words, Tang Sanzang realized, kneeling to trace the patterns. Ancient script, similar to what I've seen in the oldest sutras. What do they say? Bajie asked, peering over his shoulder. Tang Sanzang concentrated, drawing upon his extensive scholarly knowledge. It speaks of duality and reflection, mirrors and opposites. What seems rescue may be capture, what appears prison may be protection. All eyes turned to Lingji, who remained by the central tree, her expression unchanged. Wukong's eyes narrowed. Guardian, explain these words. The mountain spirit left messages for you, she replied smoothly, knowing you would eventually return. The transformation was complex with many layers of meaning and magic. The crystal bell at Tang Sanzang's waist now hummed audibly. The monk stood, one hand on the bell, the other raised in a gesture of spiritual protection. Great sage, he said quietly to Wukong, examine the guardian more closely with your fiery eyes that can see through all disguises. Wukong's golden eyes flared with their inner fire, the vision that could penetrate any illusion. What he saw made him instantly extend his staff to its full fighting length. You are not Lingji, he growled. You are the Phoenix Empress herself. The beautiful figure by the tree remained outwardly calm, though a flicker of flame reflected briefly in her eyes. Perceptive, Monkey King, but it changes nothing. The spell can only be broken as I described. Why would you offer to help break your own curse? Sha Wujing demanded. A cold smile spread across the disguised Empress's face. Because The cure I prescribed would not free the monkeys. It would complete their transformation, eliminating the last traces of their original spirits and making them truly nothing more than trees forever. And what of Lingji? Tang Sanzong asked. The guardian you claim to be? A convenient fiction, the Empress replied with a dismissive wave. I needed a sympathetic character for my little drama. The truth is far simpler. I never ascended back to heaven. My redemption was rejected because of what I did to these monkey spirits. I have remained here, bound to my creation, for 5 centuries. Her beautiful facade began to crack, revealing glimpses of fiery feathers beneath human skin. When I sensed the great sage's approach, I saw an opportunity. If you completed the transformation of these monkeys, the evidence of my crime would vanish, and I might finally be permitted to return to heaven. Wukong's rage was palpable, the air around him crackling with energy. You imprisoned my people for 500 years, and now you would erase them completely? I should end your existence here and now. Tang Sanzang placed a restraining hand on his disciple's arm. Violence will not undo the curse, Wukong. We must find the true solution. The disguised Empress laughed, the sound like breaking glass. There is no solution. I designed the spell to be irreversible except by me, and I will never release them. As her laughter echoed through the grove, the crystal bell at Tang Sanzang's waist suddenly shattered, unable to contain the magnitude of falsehood before them. But instead of simply breaking, the bell released a pure, perfect tone that spread through the grove like ripples in a pond. Where this tone touched the monkey trees, their bark began to glow with a soft, golden light. The central tree shuddered violently, and the Phoenix Empress's disguise fell away completely, revealing her true form, a majestic but terrible creature, half woman and half phoenix, wreathed in flames. "What is happening?" she shrieked, trying and failing to move away from the central tree. Tang Sanzang looked at the fragments of the crystal bell in his palm with understanding. The abbot of the Silent Monastery knew we would face this challenge. The bell was not merely a detector of falsehood, it contained the counterspell, the true key to liberation. Wukong understood immediately. He plucked a hair from his head and with a puff of breath transformed it into an exact duplicate of himself. This copy began to somersault around the grove, touching each glowing monkey tree, while Wukong himself approached the Phoenix Empress. "You bound them with false harmony," he said, his voice unusually calm despite his inner fury. "But true harmony is their salvation." The Phoenix Empress struggled against invisible bonds. "No, the spell cannot be broken by mere sound." "Not mere sound," Sha Wujing observed, "but the perfect tone of truth against falsehood, the very essence of what we learned at the Monastery of Silent Bells." Around them, the monkey trees began to transform. Bark split and peeled away, revealing fur and flesh beneath. Branches contracted into arms and legs. Leaves dissolved into hair and eyebrows. One by one, monkey spirits emerged from wooden prisons, disoriented but alive. The 6 generals were the first to fully return to their original forms. They immediately prostrated themselves before Wukong, their joy and gratitude beyond words. "Great sage, our king has returned as promised." Wukong managed a gruff acknowledgment. Visibly moved by the reunion, yet focused on the still transforming grove. Rise, loyal subjects, your long vigil is ended. The Phoenix Empress howled in rage and despair as her spell unraveled completely. The central tree cracked down its middle, revealing not wood within, but a prison of crystal, where a delicate figure lay suspended, the real Lingji, handmaiden of the Queen Mother, preserved but unconscious for 5 centuries. As the last of the monkey spirits regained their true forms, the Phoenix Empress's physical form began to dissolve into pure flame. "This isn't the end, Monkey King," she warned. "You may have freed your subjects, but I will return in another form, another time." Tang Sanzang stepped forward, his expression compassionate despite all that had transpired. "Return not with vengeance, but with wisdom, Phoenix Empress. Let your next rebirth bring understanding rather than pride." With a final scream of defiance, the Empress vanished into a column of fire that shot upward and dispersed into the sky, leaving behind only a small pile of ashes beside the split central tree. Wukong gently lifted the unconscious Lingji from her crystal prison. As she came into contact with the open air, her eyes fluttered open, confusion giving way to comprehension. "Great sage Sun Wukong," she whispered, "you finally come, as the mountain spirit foretold." "Rest now," he told her. "You have been imprisoned a very long time." As Lingji recovered her strength, the freed monkey spirits gathered around their king, hundreds strong, their chatter filling the grove with joyful noise after centuries of silence. "What will you do with them, elder brother?" Baji asked. "We can hardly take an entire tribe of monkeys with us to the western heaven." Wukong looked thoughtfully at his reunited subjects, then at Tang Sanzang. "Master, I cannot abandon them again, yet our journey must continue." Tang Sanzang nodded in understanding. "The Buddha teaches that each being must find their own path. Perhaps there is a solution that serves both duties." Lingji, now able to stand, approached and bowed to both the monk and the Monkey King. "If I may offer a suggestion, the mountain of flowers and fruit still exists, though it has lain empty these many centuries. With the Phoenix Empress gone, your subjects could return to their rightful home." "And what of you?" Xiao Wujing asked. "Will you return to the Queen Mother's court?" Lingji shook her head. "My transgression remains unforgiven. I must continue my journey of atonement in the mortal realm, though at least now I do so freely." After conferring with his generals, Wukong made his decision. He performed a complex series of somersaults in the air, creating a massive cloud large enough to transport all the freed monkey spirits. "I will personally escort my subjects home," he announced, "and ensure they are safely established once more. With your permission, Master, I will rejoin our pilgrimage at the next major landmark on our westward path." Tang Sanzang gave his blessing. "We will camp by the western lake 3 days' journey from here. Rejoin us there, and we will continue together toward Buddha's enlightenment." The reunited monkey tribe climbed aboard the giant cloud, their excitement palpable. Wukong remained behind momentarily to address Lingji. "Guardian, you protected my people as best you could while imprisoned yourself. That deserves recognition." He plucked another hair and blew upon it, transforming it into a small golden circlet. "When you feel ready to petition the Queen Mother for forgiveness, Wear this. It carries a trace of my essence and will ensure your message reaches her directly." Lingji accepted the gift with a deep bow. "Great sage, your generosity matches your reputation. May your journey westward bring enlightenment to all." With final farewells exchanged, Wukong leapt aboard the cloud with his subjects and soared into the sky, heading eastward toward their ancestral home. Tang Sanzang, Bajie, and Sha Wujing continued westward, their path now clear of the enchanted grove. As they traveled, Bajie remarked, "That Phoenix Empress was certainly convinced her spell couldn't be broken. I wonder how the abbot knew to give you that special bell." Tang Sanzang smiled serenely. Sometimes wisdom appears in unexpected forms. The monastery had studied sound-based portals for centuries. They understood that the purest truth is a perfect tone that resonates across all realms of existence. "And what became of the false peaches?" Sha Wujing inquired, glancing back at the grove now distant behind them. "They vanished with the breaking of the spell," Tang Sanzang replied. "Falsehood cannot persist in the presence of liberated truth." As the sun began to set on their day's journey, Tang Sanzang reflected silently on the miracle they had witnessed. Hundreds of beings restored after centuries of imprisonment, their spirits intact despite the long transformation. It reminded him of Buddha's teaching that the essence of all beings remains unchanged, regardless of outward form or circumstance. With renewed dedication to their sacred quest, the reduced party continued westward, knowing that their monkey king would soon rejoin them, his burden lightened by the knowledge that his first kingdom was once again secure under loyal governance. The path to enlightenment stretched before them, filled with unknown challenges and wonders yet to be discovered. But for now, they had witnessed the power of liberation and the unbreakable bonds of loyalty that transcended even the passage of centuries. And that's the end of episode 19. The Monkey King has reunited with his loyal subjects after 5 centuries of separation, and our pilgrims continue their sacred journey westward. What new challenges await Tang Sanzang and his disciples? Will the Phoenix Empress return to seek revenge? We'll be back with episode 20 soon. Can't wait to have you join us for the next adventure. To stay updated, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new chapter in this epic tale. If you enjoyed this story of transformation and loyalty, give this video a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. Here at Celestial Scrolls, we'll keep bringing you these timeless tales from Chinese mythology. A special thanks to all our subscribers who've been following the journey so far. Your support means everything. Thank you for watching, and see you next time as our heroes continue their quest for the sacred scriptures.